Don't trip yourself while you're running downhill. That's the name of a chapter from Matthew McConaughey's book, Green Lights, which is a treasure, as he is a national treasure. Uh, Look, in business, that is the name of the game. I see it time and time again. Things are going great, and then all of a sudden the bottom falls out because someone trips themselves running downhill. Another example of this, I saw an interview with Roger Federer a while back, and he was talking about the number of volleys that he won over the course of his career. Incredible career. And the answer to that is 54%, just 4% more than the opposition. And if he had dwelled on the losses, he would not be the champion that he is. So I have the opportunity to talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and a lot of people about their spiritual growth and development. And I've come to realize that entrepreneurship is simply your internal work turned inside out, as my friend George liked to put it. It really is just a natural extension of showing up in service. However, we have these limiting beliefs that we adopt throughout our childhood, things that we take on board from our family, from our parents, that trap us into these loops and into these cycles. So I want to go through 12 different limiting beliefs that we carry and how those things may show up in your business so that you can keep your eyes peeled for them. Because you, as the entrepreneur, are the key. Business mirrors you. So my name's Jay Cohen. I had a big business, well, medium-sized business, a bunch of people working for me. When I was in a great state, the business was making $20,000 or $30,000 profit a month. Not revenue, profit. When I was in a not so great place, the business was losing $20,000 to $30,000 a month. That much of a swing dependent upon my energy and how I was handling what was happening. So it really is on your shoulders, but not in a heavy way, in like the best way possible, when you understand that the way to move things off your shoulders is to trust in yourself and in a higher power, whatever that means for you. Okay, so the first belief that I'm going to show you, I think you guys can see that, is I'm unworthy. So this is a gimme, right? It's a layup. This is what I built. This was the fuel for my last business. Let me prove to the world that I am worthy. And what that looks like in your business is killing yourself in order to achieve some level of outward success so that the other people in your sphere can look at you and say, that person's awesome. That person is worthy. They deserve love. And it's this, this energy prevents you from enjoying what you have right around you. And it stops you from resting in what is working. I have a sticky note on my computer monitor that I'm pointing to over there that says, trust what's working. Because this unworthiness belief is something that I know about, I'm constantly like pulling levers that don't need to be pulled so that I can like do that much more. And it's just completely unnecessary a lot of the time. I've gotten out of it now, thankfully, and the level of peace that I feel is significantly greater. So I'm unworthy is a big one, and it shows up as workaholism, being a martyr. You get the idea. Okay, next one. I'm not, man, I don't know if that's blurry or not. I'm not good enough. So this is a biggie because you never think that you have enough knowledge. So if you are like the personal growth junkie, you are constantly going to the next self-help book, or you really feel like you need this certification or this piece of paper before you can do this thing, that's this limiting belief of I'm not enough by myself. And the real value is in wisdom. Wisdom is what really moves the needle in people's lives. It really drives transformation. And wisdom is embodied knowledge. It is like this energy comes into us and it becomes part of us. It becomes part of our being. We don't have to like recall specific information. It's just in there. And it's in there in line with your natural gifts. You have a specific purpose, a specific way of being in the world. Like a lion is amazing at hunting at night, they have night vision. A cheetah is incredibly fast and hunts on the plains of the savannah. Like those are two cats, but two very different cats in their skill set. And therefore they have different purposes, just like you have a different purpose. And so you have everything that you need inside of you, but this I'm not good enough belief prevents you from stepping into your expertise. It prevents you from making you feel like you have enough to help somebody else, and therefore you never put yourself out to the world. We never step out. We're constantly feeling like we'll be ready just on the other side of this next piece of knowledge or this next piece of information. Okay, third one is I don't belong. I don't belong. So this one shows up in a few ways. The most prominent that I've felt is in trying to make myself belong. And what that looks like is altering my truth, altering what I think, what I say, sharing my opinions so that people don't cast me out, so that I can be seen as someone who can be liked and someone like you never want to step on anyone's toes. But the reality is, in this type of work that I do, like it is telling people as it is and sharing the hard thing that really moves the needle for people. And this talks to what my buddy Rich Webster has talked about in the past, the difference between serving and servicing. Servicing is doing what is asked of you by your client. And oftentimes, it's coming from a place, they're blind to certain things. It's why they hired you in the first place. So they're asking you to do something without understanding or seeing the whole picture. Serving them is saying the hard thing. It's helping them to see and understand that this course of action that might be incredibly uncomfortable is actually the direction that we need to go. And that means, like, when you say these hard things, people are going to project onto you. It's going to feel uncomfortable. They're not going to be pleased until they get to the other side. And if you have this I don't belong belief, it's incredibly difficult to have the courage to speak that truth. Another place this shows up is in content, right? Like if you don't feel the belonging, you're never going to stick your neck out. You're never going to speak your real authentic truth, and therefore it's never going to resonate. Okay, next up, I need to control myself. So I need to control myself. Oftentimes, as entrepreneurs, we think that we need to fit into this 9-to-5 rhythm because the Industrial Revolution tells us so, I guess. It's incredibly difficult when you grow up in that rhythm and it's all you've known and it's all your parents have known, to allow yourself to do what is right and true for you. So what I mean by this is there are weeks that I am like laser focused, working a bunch because it feels good. Not because I feel like I have to, but because it feels good. And then I might go a week or two without doing anything. And I used to beat myself up. I used to try and white knuckle it and like force myself to get in front of the camera. What I realize is that energy is coming across in whatever it is I'm making. People can feel that. So much better during that time to just use it to get back in touch with myself. But the controlling is like the forcing of things. I have to do this. It's a not trusting in the flow. You're worried that if you don't like whip yourself into shape, if you don't do these habits and these strategies and these tactics and these things, that you're not going to get the outcome that you want. Basically, you turn into this like control freak situation. And that's extremely limiting. Like your heart is calling you to a certain rhythm for a very particular reason. And I promise you, if you learn to honor that rhythm instead of trying to control it, the outcomes will be 100x better than the outcomes that you're getting now. Next up, I can't trust myself. I can't trust myself, others, or the world is the end of this one. So if you can't trust yourself or others, you are constantly going to be second guessing yourself and not making decisions. And business is about how quickly can we make decisions that are easily undone. Now, every once in a while, maybe 5%, maybe even less than that, of our decisions are big decisions that are difficult to undo. But it's like who you marry, like the house you buy, like it's these giant things. Most decisions, like website URL, where you're going to host a community, Instagram or YouTube, like these things can be changed in a flash. But if you don't trust yourself, you're stuck in this weird decision in between and you're going to be fatigued. You're not going to have the energy to put into the thing that you want to do because it's caught in this decision loop. And I have a piece about this on my Substack for anybody that is curious about it. I can't trust others. Well, there goes collaboration. There goes partnership. There goes believing that the clients that you work with are going to do their part in this particular situation or circumstance. Like, if we do not have a trust of others, how in the world are we going to help people? And then the world, if we don't trust the world, we're just constantly going to be forcing, fighting, grasping, feeling unsafe. Our nervous system is going to be constantly dysregulated. That comes through. People will feel that. People are not transformed by your system. They are transformed by seeing a different way of being in you. And you have to trust the world in order for that to happen. Okay, number 6, I'm insignificant or invisible. So this one leads to oversharing. It leads to, look at me, see me, constantly needing to put your voice out there. And because this is the energy behind it, interestingly, the way that the universe is going to answer is you're not going to be seen. You will be even more invisible. So it's this reaching energy, this grasping energy, this wanting to be seen as powerful, as important. And if you have ever engaged with somebody that is of that mindset, you know how incredibly like of a turnoff that is. Like somebody that's grasping for power, that's like, I'm the most important person in the room. It does not feel good. So your voice and sharing that voice is something that is sacred. There are things that happen in our lives that are designed for us. They are designed to charge our system. And with enough of those moments of awe or grace, the system charges. And when it gets to a certain point, it just flows out of you. It's divine restraint, waiting until that happens. And if you have this I'm insignificant or invisible belief, you're never going to wait. You're going to constantly be vomiting things because you're trying to gain traction. And it's that very energy that's pushing people away. Next up, I don't have the capacity. Oh, this one is really common with spiritual people, I've found. And I actually fell into this trap myself for a period of time because I had this other business that I built the golden handcuffs for myself, and I burned myself out so hard. And then I went into a cave for a year, like a real dark night, came out of that cave. And as I was re-engaging in this work and sharing myself with the world, I was so fearful about running out of gas, about not having the juice, because I was using my last business as evidence or data for what was going to happen in the future. What I had to come to terms with is an understanding that I'm not the same man and it's not the same business. And I do have the capacity to handle whatever comes my way. This is such a common human fear. We're worried always that the void is going to overtake us, that we're not going to have the skills that we need in order to handle something. But the reality is, because of our wisdom, because of our divine nature, you are always given the resources that you need when you need them. And you will be blown away if you can commit yourself to walking along the edge here, because that's what's required. We walk right along the edge of the unknown. It's fun. I promise what comes out is exactly what's needed to open your heart, to spread your message, to share love. It's easy. It's not that easy because it's hard for us humans to step into the unknown. But you will always have the capacity. I promise you, you will. You just have to take the leap and find out for yourself. Don't believe me. Take the leap and find out for yourself. Okay, next one. I am powerless. So talk about a victim mindset, right? I am just a victim of circumstance. I cannot do anything about this situation. And in business, that means reserving yourself to the whim of whatever is happening in a moment, when always we have an opportunity to affect, nudge how things are going. So, for example, I had an offer a while back that I put a ton of time, energy, and effort into, and it fell completely flat. Like, I had just a couple of people that wound up interested in it. And I was in this position, like, I felt powerless for a moment. And I was sitting on the side of my bed, wondering how this happened, why I got here, not wanting to be here, honestly. And from that moment, I reclaimed the power, and I decided, okay, this isn't working, but what I can do is start this community. It's called the Synarchy. It came from this moment. It's got like 350 people in there. I talk about this stuff that I'm talking about now, business and spirituality and their overlap, manifestation. I'll put a link in the description so that you can come and join us. But that came from this moment of powerlessness. And if I believed that limiting belief, I would have stayed there. I didn't, though. I reclaimed my power and I took action. Next up, I am not allowed to be capable. So this one's interesting. It's different from I don't have the capacity, because this is basically not doing what you want because you're worried that somebody else is going to judge you for it, or you're going to harm somebody else, essentially. In reality, you can do whatever you want. You are not beholden to even the people that you work with, right? That's a big part of this. We think that I want to do this thing, but I'm not allowed to do it because the algorithm isn't going to work with me, because people are going to cancel me, because my viewpoint is different from other people's viewpoints. And if I share this, they're going to withdraw from me. And so we just never do it. And instead, we constantly underachieve. Okay, next up. I need to be perfect. This is a biggie, obviously. This most often shows up in not releasing your work, not feeling ready to bring yourself out to the world. We're never going to feel ready. There is this thing in humans that tells us I'll be ready when X, when my kids are at a certain age, when I have X amount of dollars, when I have X amount of time in my life. Look, the perfect world is never coming. You can move forward. And it's going to be okay. 80% is good enough, and it's going to resonate with people on a deep level. And you need that feedback from people. You need to put your imperfect work out to the world so that you can get feedback. It's a overlap between your message and how that message is received by the culture. And you can't have that feedback loop if you are waiting to publish because you don't feel like it's good enough. So a lot of times what happens is that people try to make it perfect, and they'll spend years sometimes, and then they think they have this perfect thing and they bring it out to the world and it falls completely flat because they didn't put the imperfect version out to get feedback, to change the things that need to be changed so that it resonates in a much deeper way with the people that they are here to serve. So this is a biggie, especially when it comes to like creating content, showing, like hosting calls for people. Just people are frozen, don't take action. Okay, next up. There is a right way to do something. This is the framework problem. This is the, like, I need somebody else to tell me how to do it because I don't trust my own internal state. And what that leads to is not following your intuition. And when you don't follow your intuition, you're trying to put somebody else's plan into practice. And that was their plan, not your plan. And so the framework for you is the one that emerges from your heart. It's one that nobody else can do. Going back to what I said about the lion and the cheetah, like, you have this specific skill set, and so you need to find your own way. Humans don't like to hear that. We don't want to stick out. We don't want to be first. We don't want to forge our own path. But that's the way to find your purpose. That's the way to find your specific role within the whole. You can't follow somebody else's path. This is where, like, the marketing bro frameworks come from, the echo chambers of everyone, marketers teaching marketers how to market. It stems from people not trusting themselves and needing a system to step into. You don't need a system. You just have to start testing things. And now we can just, like, cascade these limiting beliefs back, and you can see why people are getting stuck. And all of these, I'll put these slides up probably as I'm talking. You can see they come from mom and dad. They come from when we were very young. And it's just patterns that have shown up in our life for 20, 30, 40, 50, who knows how many years. Okay, last one. There is a way things are. Or there is a way that the world is. So this is like a fundamentalist worldview. This is someone who is riddled with judgment and opinion, that there is only one way to do things, and it is their way, and everybody that doesn't see it their way is wrong. Obviously, if that is the posture that you are holding, you are going to bump heads with quite a few people. And you're constantly going to be in conflict, as opposed to in relationship with the people that you're talking to. If you believe that there is a right way, you are going to be blind to so many different solutions, right? So many different possibilities. If you believe that the world, like, has this certain path that it always follows, the moment that it doesn't follow that path, and it won't, because things are unknown, things always pop up, your attachments and your expectations are going to trigger you, and you're not going to be able to hold your frequency, and who knows what that's going to look like as you kind of go out into the world, into business. All right, y'all, those are the 12 limiting beliefs, how they might show up in your business. Again, I'd love for you to join the community if you're around. I host a free call in there every week, alternating between esoteric, which I have one Thursday this week, and then business, which is the following Monday. They're always alternating Thursday, Monday, Thursday, Monday. Also, I work one-to-one with people. If you have any interest there, I'll put the link below. We can have a chat. It's fun. It's in the business space. So if you are somebody that is working through these things and you notice some of this stuff in you, I can serve as a pretty good mirror to pull it out for you. All right, guys, lots of love. Thanks for being here.